She steps into the room like she belongs there. No hesitation, no apology, just quiet certainty. The air shifts instantly. A group of men in tailored suits cluster near the bar, their laughter dying as they notice her. One of them, a tech bro, with a Silicon Valley smirk, leans toward his friend. Seriously? They let her in? His voice isn't low enough. She doesn't flinch. Doesn't glance at the floor-length mirror reflecting her faded, homemade dress against the marble opulence. Instead, she walks straight to the center of the room, where a polished table holds a prototype AI interface. Her fingers hover over. "The keyboard! Wait! What are you doing?" Another man materializes beside her, sleeves rolled up in a failed attempt at approachable genius. His eyes flicker between her hands and her face. "You're not one of us. A woman at..." The far end of the room chimes in, sipping champagne. "Let's be honest, she's here because someone felt bad." The room hums with agreement, smirks, eyebrows raised in faux pity. She types anyway. The screen blinks, code scrolls faster than anyone can read. The tech bros freeze. One mutters, "Is she hacking the system?" Another snorts, more like crashing it on purpose. But the lines of code aren't random. They're elegant, precise. A language only the elite claim to understand. The woman, Sofia, someone whispers her name like a forgotten secret, steps back. The screen flashes. Processing complete. Silence. Then the man in the rolled-up sleeves laughs, sharp and loud. "What's your angle? Did you Google how to look smart before coming here?" The group erupts in forced chuckles. Sofia says nothing. Her eyes track the security camera in the corner. A flicker of recognition. A plan already in motion? Who is she? Why does she look like she's waiting for the world to realize its own mistake? And why does the room suddenly feel like it's holding its breath? She moves through the room like someone who has learned to occupy space without demanding permission. Her dress is soft at the edges, frayed at the hems, but her posture is rigid, unyielding. The champagne flutes clink around her, the laughter sharp and rehearsed, but she remains untouched by it all. A man in a charcoal suit edges closer, his voice dripping with faux curiosity. "How'd you even get here? Press pass? Charity invite? Or did someone feel bad about letting the cleaning lady's niece crash the party?" The group tenses. They've been trained to recognize blood in the water. Sofia doesn't answer. She never does. Not to the snide remarks, not to the sideways glances, not to the way someone accidentally knocks a wine glass near her feet, as if testing whether she'll flinch. She steps back, avoids the spill, and watches the liquid seep into the white linen tablecloth like a stain spreading. Later, they'll say she was always like this, quiet, unreadable. The janitor's daughter who coded alone in the school basement while her classmates posted selfies online. The woman who built neural networks out of discarded laptops, who taught herself quantum computing by reading white papers in a library basement. They'll say she was brilliant long before anyone noticed, but no one will admit they ignored the signs. Not the professor who dismissed her thesis proposal as simplistic. Not the venture capitalist who laughed when she asked for funding. Not the tech bros now circling her like vultures, their voices rising. Seriously, who is she? She's got outsider written all over her. Remember that forum post? The one where she said AI should be for everyone. God, that was so naive. They laugh, but Sofia's eyes drift again. To the security camera, a twitch of her fingers, almost imperceptible. A blink and you miss it flicker of recognition. Someone once told her that silence is a weapon. She wields it now, carving space between herself and the noise. Outside, the city hums. Inside, the room is a pressure cooker of judgment and ego. And Sofia stands at its center, a woman who knows something no one else does. Or maybe she's just waiting for them to realize what they've missed. Either way, the air feels heavier, like the moment before lightning strikes. The laughter in. The room sharpens into something sharper. A man in a fitted blazer lifts his phone, angles the camera toward Sofia, and snaps a photo. "Look at this," he says, voice dripping with mockery. "We've got a real coder in the house." He taps at the screen, uploading the image with a caption. "When your janitor's daughter thinks she's Silicon Valley royalty. Fake genius, charity case." Within minutes, the post explodes. Comments flood in. She's one Google search away from being relevant. Did she really wear that dress? Someone buy her a mirror? AI doesn't need saviors, it needs experts. A meme appears. A pixelated photo of Sofia overlaid with the words, "I coded an app in BASIC. Let me run your billion-dollar company." Back in the room, the tech bros lean into their phones, grinning as they refresh the feed. One of them, a woman with a sleek ponytail and a venomous smirk, steps closer to Sofia. "You're trending," she says, holding up her phone. "Want to see what people are saying?" Sofia doesn't take the device. Her fingers remain still, hovering near the keyboard where she'd typed the flawless lines of code moments earlier. But her eyes flicker to the screen, and for the first time, something cracks. Not in her posture, still rigid, still unyielding, but in the way her pupils tighten, absorbing the cruelty like data. The group presses in. A chorus of voices rises. She thinks she's one of us? Please, she's barely human. Remember that forum post she wrote? AI for everyone? Classic peasant logic? One of them, tall, broad-shouldered, with a voice like a sneer, snatches a napkin from the bar and scribbles something in sharp looping letters. He slams it onto the table beside her. "Charity case," it reads. The ink bleeds through the paper, staining the polished surface like a brand. Sofia stares at it, doesn't touch it, doesn't flinch. But the room tightens around her, a noose of judgment and laughter. Someone else uploads a video, shaky footage of her standing alone, back straight, hands clasped. The caption, the human equivalent of a placeholder error message. Outside, the city glows with neon and ambition. Inside, Sofia is drowning in a sea of smirks and snide remarks, both real and digital. The cruelty isn't just in the words, it's in the collective glee, the way the crowd leans into the humiliation like a shared ritual. A woman in a sequined dress giggles. Imagine her trying to pitch this to investors. "Here's my AI and my hope." She mimes, wiping a tear, faux sobbing. The men laugh harder. Someone raises a glass. "To Sofia, the people's coder." No one notices the way her lips press together, thin and tight, like a locked door. No one sees the way her fingers twitch, not in fear, but in calculation. They're too busy watching their own reflection in the glow of their phones, too high on the rush of tearing her down to notice that Sofia is no longer looking at them. She's looking at the camera. Again, the one in the corner, and this time, her eyes don't just flicker, they burn, as if she's already seen the ending, as if she's already written it. The room is still buzzing with laughter when the double doors swing open. A man in a dark suit steps inside, his expression carved from stone. The chatter falters. Someone recognizes him, Marcus Hale, the attorney who handles legacies for the tech elite. His presence is a punctuation mark, sharp, final, undeniable. He doesn't greet the room, doesn't acknowledge the champagne flutes mid-sip or the phones still glowing with Sofia's humiliation. His gaze locks onto Sofia, and for the first time she reacts. A single nod. Marcus steps forward, holding up a sealed envelope. "Logan Voss's final will and testament," he says, voice echoing off the marble walls. "Per his instructions, it is to be read immediately upon the arrival of his wife." Silence. The room inhales, holds it. Wife? The word lands like a grenade pin. Eyes dart to Sofia, to Marcus, back to Sofia. The tech bro with the Silicon Valley smirk is the first to laugh. A brittle, confused sound. Wait, what? Logan Voss? You're telling me she's... He gestures at Sofia, his hand trembling slightly. Marcus doesn't blink. Sofia Voss, he says, crisp and unyielding. Logan's spouse, legally verified. Present here today. The room fractures. No way. This has to be a joke. She's lying. A woman in a sequined dress stabs a finger at Sofia. You're not his wife! Logan dated models, billionaire heiresses. She's a fraud. Marcus lifts the will. The document was signed in the presence of 2 witnesses, he says. Logan's fingerprints are on file. DNA confirmation is available upon request. He lets the words hang. Or would you prefer to challenge this in court? The challenge silences them. Marcus begins reading. To my wife, Sofia Voss, I leave everything, my intellectual property, my shares in neurosynaptic systems, and full control over the AI project. We built together. She is not just my partner. She is the architect of its soul. The words bleed into the room like ink in water. Sofia's breath hitches, just slightly, but her face remains still. The tech bros stare, their earlier confidence unraveling. The man who labeled her a charity case stumbles backward, knocking over a glass. Wine spills across the white carpet. This can't be real, someone mutters. Marcus pauses, looks up. There's more. He pulls out a second document. A supplementary letter, addressed directly to this gathering. The room tightens. To the people who laughed at my wife, Marcus reads, you were warned. You chose not to listen. Sofia built the framework for neurosynaptic's core algorithm. She refined its ethical constraints. She is the reason this technology exists. I told you she was brilliant. You decided to call her a fraud. The letter cracks like a whip. Sofia's eyes flick to the security camera again. A muscle in her jaw twitches. The woman who'd mocked Sofia's forum post clears her throat. Okay, but Logan wrote this before he died. He didn't know she'd embarrass herself here tonight. That napkin, charity case, she's still just a... Marcus snaps the document shut. Logan passed away 6 weeks ago. A beat. The napkin incident occurred yesterday. Sofia was here to activate the final protocol, which she did 2 minutes ago. The words detonate. The tech bros freeze. One of them, the one who'd snapped Sofia's photo, swipes at his phone, refreshes again. Wait, the neurosynaptic servers just went dark. All access rerouted to a private node. That's not possible unless someone triggered the emergency override. Sofia finally speaks. Her voice is quiet, steady. It wasn't emergency, she says. It was routine. The room tilts. Outside, the city hums. Inside, the air is thick with the weight of reversal. The man in the rolled-up sleeves stares at Sofia, his face pale. You're really his wife. She tilts her head. Does that make it harder to believe I coded the AI? He opens his mouth, closes it. No one laughs. No one tweets. For the first time, the room is silent. And Sofia? She's still standing in the center, waiting, watching, ready to rewrite the story. The silence in the room stretches, brittle and electric. Then Marcus reaches into his briefcase and pulls out a sleek tablet. He places it on the polished table, presses a button. The screen flickers to life, casting a cold blue glow across the stunned faces. A video loads. It begins with static, then sharpens into a dimly lit basement. A younger Sofia sits hunched over a laptop surrounded by stacks of notebooks and discarded hardware. Her fingers fly across the keyboard. Lines of code scroll in real time. The timestamp reads March 14th, 2019. The tech bro who snapped her photo leans forward, squinting. What's this supposed to prove? She coded something in her basement? Big deal. Marcus doesn't respond. The video cuts to a conference room. A man's voice, Logan Voss, echoes through the speakers. "You're missing the point," he says, addressing a group of investors. "The AI's ethical framework isn't just a feature, it's the foundation, and Sofia designed it." A woman in the video scoffs. "Your wife? With all due respect, Logan, she's inexperienced." Logan's voice hardens. "She built the prototype on a $200 laptop. She wrote the neural network before half of you knew what machine learning meant. If you want this technology, you negotiate with her." The screen flashes. New footage. Sofia, in a university lab, arguing with a professor. "You're dismissing my research because I didn't attend your Sophia League school," she says, her voice low but razor sharp. "That's not critique. That's cowardice." The room erupts into murmurs. "She's got a history of this," someone mutters. "Wait, that's the paper they called naive?" Marcus pauses the video, pulls out a stack of printed documents. "Meeting logs," he says, sliding them onto the table. "Email exchanges between Sofia and Neurosynaptic's development team, signed off by Logan himself, including the final approval for the core algorithm." He taps a highlighted line. "All updates must be reviewed by Sofia Voss prior to deployment." Fuck. Tech bros scramble for the papers, flipping pages. One man's face pales. This was before the company launched. She wasn't even listed in the press materials. Marcus lifts an eyebrow. No, she wasn't. The video resumes. Another scene, Sofia in a sleek boardroom seated beside Logan. A venture capitalist leans toward her, smirking. "You're here as moral support, right? Logan's charming, but he needs a real co-founder." Sofia doesn't blink. "I am the real co-founder," she replies. "You're just the first investor who couldn't be bothered to check the paperwork." The room erupts in laughter. Logan grins, slipping an arm around her shoulders. The screen cuts to black. Marcus turns to the stunned crowd. "You dismissed her because she didn't fit your image of a genius," he says. "You called her a charity case because she didn't wear your brand of arrogance. But Sofia Voss built the AI you all claim to admire, and Logan made sure the world would know." A woman in a sequined dress stammers. "But she never said anything. Not when we mocked her. Not when we—" She trails off, eyes darting to the napkin still lying on the table. Charity case, now a grotesque relic. Sofia finally speaks. Her voice is quiet, almost gentle. "Why would I defend myself to people who'd already decided I wasn't real?" She steps forward, picks up the napkin, and lets it slip through her fingers. "You weren't here when the code was written. You weren't in the lab when the framework was tested. You weren't even listening tonight when I rewrote the system in front of you." The tech bro who'd uploaded her photo stares at his phone. "The servers are still locked," he mutters. "All our access, gone." Sofia tilts her head. "You wanted proof? That's your answer." Outside, the city hums. Inside, the air is thick with the weight of exposure. The group shifts uncomfortably, their earlier confidence shattered. Someone tries to laugh it off. The sound dies in their throat. Marcus closes his briefcase. "There's more," he says. "But I suspect you've seen enough." The room holds its breath. And Sofia? She stands at the center, unwavering. The video may have ended, but the story is just beginning. The room is still reeling when the tablet screen flickers again. A new notification flashes. Incoming live feed. Authorized personnel only. Marcus steps back. Sofia doesn't move. The screen splits. On one side, the old footage of Sofia coding in the basement. On the other, a live video feed. A man's face fills the frame. Gasps erupt. It's Logan Voss. Alive. His hair is shorter, his face leaner, but his eyes are sharp, unflinching. He's seated in a dimly lit control room, surrounded by monitors displaying the very same faces now staring at his image, in stunned silence. The tech bro who'd labeled Sofia a charity case stammers, This has to be deepfake. He's dead." Logan smirks. "Funny, you didn't question the DNA results." His voice is calm, deliberate. "Or did you forget I faked my death with your help?" The room fractures. "What are you talking about?" someone snaps. Logan leans closer to the camera. "Let's rewind. 3 months ago, I told you all I was stepping down. Said I wanted to disappear. And you?" He tilts his head. "You didn't ask questions. You didn't mourn. You just took what you could." The woman in the sequined dress blanches. "That was a cover. You said you wanted privacy." Logan's smile fades. "No. Sofia wanted privacy. I wanted to see who'd try to erase her." He pauses, letting the words settle. "And you didn't disappoint." The tech bros exchange frantic glances. One mutters, "This is insane. You're saying you let us rewrite the history?" Logan's gaze hardens. "You rewrote it for yourselves. You stripped Sofia's name from the codebase, gave her a token advisory role, called her the heart of the project. Like that was a compliment, not a cage." He taps a keyboard off screen. "But Sofia? She built the AI's soul, and she designed the failsafe that just locked you out." The room erupts. "You're lying! She couldn't have done that without you." Logan's smirk returns. "She did, months ago. The system's core protocol requires dual authorization, hers and mine. And tonight?" He glances off screen. "She triggered it without me." A beat of silence, then Sofia speaks. Quiet, final. "You assumed I needed Logan to prove I was real?" Her eyes sweep the room. "But the truth is, he needed me to keep you from stealing what we built." The tech bro in the rolled-up sleeves stabs a finger at the tablet. "You staged his death? This whole thing was a test," Logan chuckles. "Not mine. Hers." He gestures to Sofia. "She wanted to know what people would do if they thought she had no power. You gave her the answer." The woman who'd mocked Sofia's forum post swallows hard. "What does this mean for the company?" Logan's smile vanishes. "It means Sofia's in charge. It means every line of code you stole, every decision you made without her, just got erased." He leans forward. "And it means you're about to find out what happens when you underestimate someone who builds worlds in basements." The screen cuts to black. Outside, the city hums. Inside, the room is a tomb of ego and regret. The tech bros scramble for their phones. No signal, no access. One of them whispers, "She's really in control?" Sofia steps forward, her voice soft but unshakable. "You spent years ignoring the code I wrote. Tonight you ignored the one I rewrote." She glances at the security camera again, then back at the group. "You should have listened." The doors swing open. Security officers enter, Logan's men, not theirs. Marcus closes his briefcase. "Time to go," he says, not unkindly. The antagonists file out, heads low, phones silent. Sofia remains. Alone at the center of the room, she exhales. The city outside glows. The servers hum, and for the first time, the world knows her name. The room empties in silence. One by one, the tech bros and investors file out, flanked by security. Their phones are gone, seized, wiped, or simply useless now that Neurosynaptic's servers are locked behind Sofia's firewall. The air feels thinner without them, as if their arrogance had been weighing it down. Marcus steps aside, nodding, to Sofia. "It's your call." She doesn't hesitate. A single keystroke on the tablet. A flicker across the monitors lining the walls. Names appear. Daniel Mercer, Emily Park, Raj Patel, Marcus Hale. Below each name, a dossier, emails, meeting, logs, screenshots of tweets and texts, their own words weaponized against them. Sofia's voice is quiet but sharp. You spent years rewriting history, she says. Tonight, I restored it. The screen flashes again. Public statements scroll into view. Neurosynaptic Systems formally retracts all claims of sole authorship from Daniel Mercer. Full credit for the AI's core algorithm is attributed to Sofia Voss. Another line, Emily Park's venture firm has terminated her partnership following confirmation of intellectual theft. Raj Patel, the man who'd labeled Sofia a charity case, stumbles backward. You can't just, this isn't how it works. Sofia tilts her head. You rewrote the rules when it suited you. Now the world gets to see what you did. She gestures to the monitors. Your social media accounts have been archived. Every post mocking me, every joke about my peasant code, preserved, public, permanent. Daniel Mercer, the first to upload Sofia's photo, grips the edge of the table. You're going to ruin us? No, Sofia says. I'm going to reveal you. She steps closer, her voice softening. You already ruined yourselves. The doors swing open again. Reporters flood in, cameras flashing. A journalist from TechCrunch scans the monitors, eyes widening. This is everything. The stolen IP, the cover-ups, the harassment. She turns to Sofia. How long have you had this? Long enough. Outside, the city buzzes with breaking news. Inside, the fallen elite stand frozen as headlines roll in real time. Neurosynaptic co-founder exposed as architect of AI revolution. Billion-dollar scandal unveils. Systemic theft of intellectual property. Emily Park, the woman in the sequined dress, grips her phone. My followers, my reputation, gone. A final keystroke from Sofia, and every platform suspends her accounts. Not deleted, suspended. A digital guillotine. You wanted to erase me? Sofia says. Turns out mirrors work both ways. Raj Patel swallows hard. What happens to us now? Sofia steps back, her expression unreadable. That's not up to me. But for once, the truth is, she nods to Marcus, who gestures to security. They'll escort you out. As the last of them leaves, Sofia turns to the remaining staff, engineers, and developers who'd stayed silent during the years of theft. Some avoided her gaze back then. Now, they watch her with something like awe. She speaks to them gently. You didn't help them steal, but you didn't stop them either. A beat. That ends today. One man steps forward, the only one who'd once defended her in a meeting. What now? Sofia exhales, finally allowing herself a breath of relief. Now, we rebuild. The city outside glows with neon and headlines. Inside, the servers hum with a new command. And Sofia Voss? She stands. At the center of it all, no longer invisible, no longer silent, no longer underestimated. The room feels lighter now. The antagonists are gone, their names archived in digital infamy. Sofia stands alone at the center, her fingers grazing the edge of the table where the napkin once lay. The silence isn't heavy anymore. It's clean. Final. A soft knock breaks. It. The engineer who'd once defended her in a meeting steps inside, holding a coffee cup. They're calling you a legend online, he says, voice tentative. She shakes her head. I never wanted that, he hesitates. What did you want? Sofia exhales, glancing at the security camera one last time. To be heard. Her eyes meet his. To be seen. Outside, the city pulses with headlines. Inside, the monitors flicker. Accounts suspended. Reputations unraveled. Stolen code restored to its rightful name. Justice, not as vengeance, but as correction. A recalibration. She turns to the window, the skyline glowing like a circuit board. For years, she coded in basements, argued in empty labs, fought to be acknowledged. Now, the world knows, but the victory isn't in the recognition. It's in the quiet certainty that she never broke. The engineer sets the coffee down. What happens next? Sofia smiles faintly. We build better. A soft snap echoes behind her. She turns. The pearl necklace Marcus had gifted her, Logan's final gesture before faking his death, rests on the table. One clasp undone, a single pearl rolling free. Fragile. Imperfect. She lets it fall. No applause, no cameras, just the hum of servers, the rhythm of breath, the weight of a story rewritten. Some truths take years to surface. Hers finally has. Her story isn't just about code. It's about the moments we're told we don't belong, and the quiet fire it takes to rewrite the system anyway. Sofia didn't want to be right. She wanted to be heard. Now, the world is listening. If her journey moved you, if her silence spoke louder than their noise, share this story. Let it remind someone that truth doesn't need a spotlight to shine. It only needs the right hands to build it. Press like, press follow, press share. Not because the algorithm demands it, but because some stories, like the best code, deserve to run forever.